Good morning from Juneau, Alaska, where we are supposed to be getting on a tour, the deluxe tour of Alaska. However, despite all the assurances, there is no wheelchair accessible bus. So we are waiting to see what happens next. I fear we're not going to be able to do this tour today. Good morning from Juneau, Alaska.
Welcome.
So today, our plan is to go on the deluxe Juneau tour, which is advertised as wheelchair accessible. However, the bus just left without us. Unfortunately, they did not bring a bus with a lift, even though
We told Disney
Disney called us down to ask us specifically about this one.
Yes.
The notes
Earlier.
and note it when we booked.
Yeah.
So we did all the things, and Disney told us that they were going to have one, but the tour company here says they never received that communication. So, not sure
who dropped the ball?
But they did say that they are bringing a van. So it looks like maybe we're going to have a private tour.
Yes, hopefully we'll see.
So this tour is supposed to go to Mendenhall Glacier, to the hatchery, to some other stops in Juneau, to just give you sort of the best of Juneau.
Mendenhall Glacier, everyone. We are at the visitor center here at the Mendenhall Glacier. Is that Nugget Falls? Maybe Nugget Falls right there. And of course we have the glacier itself.
The visitor center at the Mendenhall Glacier is a mainstay of many Juneau tours. If you're exploring on your own, you can just take a cab over here, and a day pass is only $5 per person for those 16 and up. Anyone 15 and under are actually free. Now, on the day we went, it was incredibly crowded. Between the rain and the fact that they couldn't show their popular glacier film, it meant that people were just sort of standing around rather than doing the normal exploration. So it was kind of annoying that it was packed. But they have a telescope where you can see the glacier up close. There's lots of different posters to educate you about glaciers and glacier science. There's a lot of other displays throughout. There's a bear and some other things that you can go and touch and see and do. If you have school-age kids, they have a program called the Junior Rangers, I believe, where they give you like an activity book, and if your kid finishes like 4 of the things, they get like a little certificate that's like, I'm a junior ranger. The site is part of the USDA through the Forest Service, and so you're in a government building, which means it is fully accessible, and it has accessible bathrooms, and you can get around pretty easily, so they've done that really well. They also do have a gift shop if you want to get something to remember your time at the Mendenhall Glacier.
This is another view of the glacier. We just saw someone we're traveling with on the cruise ship, and they were saying they were here 10 years ago, and you could see a noticeably retreating glacier. It's very, very sobering to look at this just to see. So that's the visitor center up there. We were just up there a little bit while ago. Now, let's get heading to the elevator to the visitor center. Once you come down this path right here, you take a hard right. Oops, sorry. Then you see the mountain right up here. Visitor center to your right. You want to go towards the Nugget Falls. To the right, a photo point there. The road is somewhat paved, so I'm not sure if I'm going to head down there or not, but there's some great views of the mountains.
Mendenhall Glacier is very nice. It certainly doesn't compare to our experience yesterday, being right up on it, but it's paved. You can see the glacier. There's a little telescope up top if you want to take a look at that, although that is a little high, so that might not be the best. So they might be able to lower it for you. I'm also sick now, and so I think that is tainting my perceptions of this place, but it's very nice. It's worth visiting for sure. I just wish I wasn't so sick. Unquestionably beautiful here. So there's that. Even though it's raining. Now we are at the Salmon Hatchery here in Juneau, and below me are tanks of salmon.
The bus drops you off right here. There's a ramp. You can go up under to head on in. This is the Salmon Hatchery. Oh, I want to pet the bear.
Salmon Hatchery
wins for best stop of the day. Oh my god, I need this coffee so bad.
It looks like a tiny king crab. It was very interesting in there. Traditional recipe for salmon. Boil salmon steaks in sea oil using hot rocks. Okay. Ooh, that looks cool.
I really enjoyed the Salmon Hatchery. Now, it is not outside the realm of possibility that part of the reason I enjoyed it is because it was indoors, so I was not fighting with the rain. It wasn't crowded. I got to sample salmon jerky, and they fed me coffee. I mean, these are very real things that may have impacted my feelings about the matter, but I really did enjoy the Salmon Hatchery. It was interesting. Basically, they're hatching the salmon in order to build up the population of salmon available for fishing in Alaska, because on their own, only about 10% of salmon make it, but in terms of like being able to be hatched. But because with the hatchery, they're able to get a 90 to 95% survival rate. So that's a lot more. Adam, I think you're going the wrong way. Wasn't she over there? Oh, you're taking a picture of the bear. Okay, sorry.
Look, a bear.
No, we need to get back to our bus.
How do you know that you're in a cruise port? You have a Diamonds International, a De La Soul, a Carrie Aloha. That is a cruise port. Lots of jewelry stores. But we are here at Tracy's King Crab Shack,
One of the most famous things here in the Port of Juneau, and so we are going to go check it out, although the line is crazy long and we're sitting in the rain, so there's that.
I got into Tracy's, and so far the seats don't look that much accessible. Out there like bench style seatings, you'll see. So it's kind of hard to find a spot to sit. So we put it to the side, and so right now you have to order your food first, then go find seating, which is interesting. It is very busy in here, it's loud. We are outside, but we're like covered. There's also like a heat lamp thing there, which is which is how it is. So we'll see how it goes. Tracy's supposed to be like a very popular spot. We spoke to our driver, and she said that most of the places are the same, but Tracy's a little bit more expensive.
We are leaving Tracy's Crab Shack.
Oh my gosh.
Crab has been eaten.
Still long.
We decided that we are done and we're heading back.
Wow, the line is still super long. At least they're not in the rain as we were.
Right.
The line moves pretty fast once it gets going, and your food comes pretty quickly also. So
Yeah.
it's not like a long wait after you place your order, because you have to place your order, tell your name and where you're from, and you go find a table to sit. And so they don't really have really accessible seats per se, but we got creative.
That's what we do on this channel. We get creative.
Yes, we do.
This is the tram that takes you up the mountain. So we got those.
Now that we are full of crab and have gotten our fill of Juneau attractions, we are waiting for the bus to go back to the boat. So you could walk there, but I think it's like 1.25 miles from here, and no, not in the rain, not today. I'm freezing. So we're waiting. So we already did miss one bus because it wasn't, or not miss, but one bus left already because it wasn't accessible. Hopefully this next one is, but they said that the accessible one should be here soon. You're going to Disney Wonder, yes?
Yeah, go to Disney Wonder.
Awesome. How was that compared to a Disney bus?
Much quicker because you go in the front, basically, just come in the front and park. The other one seems a little bit more, more involved and stuff.
The drivers let us know that the buses can accommodate 2 wheelchairs or scooters. So you could get a scooter on this as well.
So we're back on the ship
Okay.
after
Eventful.
longish day in Juneau. And so what did you think of Juneau?
It was good, I believe. I think we would have enjoyed it better if it wasn't so much for the rain. It's a lot of rain. So the rain kept starting and stopping, starting and stopping. It would come down really hard, then stop altogether. The clouds were like, peekaboo, and then rain would come down again. So it was just, yeah, I think I would enjoy it much better if it wasn't so rainy. But it was fun. We had a nice time. Today we decided to do a Best of Juneau excursion.
It was called Deluxe Tour of Juneau, but yes, I think there might actually be a Best of Juneau thing, so I need to stop saying that. We did the Deluxe Juneau Tour.
And so we got up this morning early, met at the designated area on the ship, and so they basically had everyone register, and they gave people these stickers. I have the Beast.
Yeah.
We had the Beast group, and so they took us down from the designated area D Lounge to the gangway, deck 1, took us off the ship, rolled to the designated spot, and lo and behold, it was those motor coaches. Are they accessible? No. What about that one? No. That one? So we spoke to Disney, and they assured us that this ride or this excursion is accessible, but it seems like the communication was lost somewhere. So yeah, so they had to call us another separate van, and so they brought us another van, and that one was accessible. It was like one of those 15, 20 passenger vans. So not like an econo van, more like a shuttle van. I don't know what to call it. Accessible. So we were the only ones on the bus, which was great because we got the talking with Katie, our driver. It seems odd. I'm not a little bit of tangent. I'm sorry. Katie is from Georgia. She moved from Georgia to Alaska. She came here as a temporary work thing, fell in love, decided to stay. Also, when we were in Icy Strait Point, another lady immigrated from Texas to Alaska. And I'm thinking maybe it's just the people in the southern states don't like the heat as much. They go to the opposite extreme, go to the winter. But yeah. So Katie was our driver. We went to where did we go first? Oh, we went to Mendenhall Glacier. That was fun. We drove to Mendenhall Glacier, and she talked about on the way there, different stops and sights to see as we drove to Mendenhall Glacier. Dropped us off, said be ready at like 9:30.
So she gave us, I believe, 90 minutes at Mendenhall.
And so at 90 minutes of there, unfortunately, it was raining again. So yeah, but the glaciers were spectacular. From the views from far away, you can be like very close, but also far away. It's wide, and it wasn't as blue as the Dawes Glacier. I think these were like more of a much lighter blue.
But I wonder if that's because of the proximity. Because I feel like the Dawes Glacier didn't look as blue until we were right up on it.
Okay. So they also had a visitor center where they talked about the glacier life cycle, the salmon life cycle, the cycle of life in Alaska itself. The bears take the salmon to the forest, and they eat half of it. It decomposes and feeds the trees and a bunch of other stuff. It was a very nice educational experience.
They have a video normally that tells you about glaciers, the history of the glacier, and shows you how the glacier is receding. So essentially, a glacier is a river of ice coming down a mountain, and so it is meant to morph and change, and the bottom of the glacier is known as the melt zone, and that's where pieces fall off and go into the ocean. And so the ocean being salt water, the glacier being fresh water, right? And so there's this mixing that happens. And Mendenhall has started retreating back, right? So the river's kind of going the reverse way, and as more and more of it is melting. And so they suspect that over the next 20 years, Mendenhall will no longer touch the water, in which case then it becomes a different category. And I can't remember what that new category is, but so 30 years ago, it was, it came out much, much further. And, going back to, I think it was like 1937, you could actually touch it from where the visitor center sits. So it's definitely traveled a lot, which is kind of sad, right? That these things are, that we're losing these glaciers. Definitely eye-opening for sure. The facility itself was, so there normally is a video that goes through these things, but the projector is broken. Hashtag your tax dollars at work. And so they have not been able to show the video, nor will they won't be able to for at least the rest of the season.
Right.
But there was plenty of other things to look at and do. It was a very accessible facility. You had accessible bathrooms. They were nothing fancy, but they did, they were accessible.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a federal facility, it has to, right? Did they have automatic doors?
For the outside, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they had automatic doors. They had an elevator to get in. So there's two ways to get into the Mendenhall Visitor Center. One is this very windy track that goes up the hill, or you can take this other path that sort of goes under it and then take the elevator up, which is what we did. Once we were up there, there is a viewing platform up there. There was with binoculars. There was a telescope out there that was a little hard to operate, but it did let you see like really close. I meant to check like what the millimeters were on. It like I was seeing, very small pieces of the glacier, very big. Yeah, it was a good sight. I mean, it's hard to compare. The Glacier Explorer was just such an amazing experience that it's hard to compare it to that. So here's what I would say. If you can't do the Glacier Explorer, you absolutely positively must do. If you are able to do the other glacier tours, like the Glacier Explorer boat, then, you can decide whether you want to do it or not. We took a couple of selfies with it. It kind of looks further away in the selfies than it does in real life, but it was quite a sight to behold. Yeah. And if it wasn't like so soggy and I wasn't also feeling under the weather and I was freezing, I think I was freezing because I'm getting sick. Like I went and bought a Mendenhall sweatshirt and some gloves because I need another layer. Like I was so cold. So that kind of ruined the experience for me a little bit, but it was very pretty. I'm glad we went. Yeah. Even though I would have rather been in bed. It was good. It was definitely worth it. The next stop on the tour, so we got back to the bus and then or the van thingy, and then she took us to the Salmon Hatchery in Juneau. Macaulay's Salmon Hatchery.
That's what I
said. Macaulay Culkin. Don't be weird.
Okay, all right. Macaulay's Salmon Hatchery.
Yes.
That was good also because they talk about the life cycle of salmon and
being a theme. It's a lot of like life cycles and nature and nature appreciation kind of things.
So that also was a good. It started outside, but there's a covered area where you can like walk under because if it's raining, as it was, you can be out of the rain or not be rained on directly and watch like the salmon swim up the little thing.
They call it a salmon ladder, and it's meant to replicate the swimming upstream that salmon do. So, cycle of life of the salmon, things I didn't know that I wanted to know previously. So, an adult salmon swims upstream to lay eggs, and it swims upstream to the place where it was born, where it like imprinted, right? And so it will go back to that place and it will lay the eggs or inseminate the eggs and then die, right? Circle of life. And so that's why you'll often see the bears sort of waiting for them to catch, right? Left of their own devices, salmon spawn have about a 5 to 10% chance of survival. The Alaska population and economy relies so much on the salmon that they needed to do something to increase the salmon population. And so the hatcheries were born. And so, pun intended, I think. So what they do is they replicate that cycle to as closely as possible. And so they extract the seeds and the eggs. Salmon die. They take the salmon that, after they do that, they like sell them so nothing goes to waste, right? Like they make salmon products and things like that. And then they have like an incubation center, and then from there, then they hatch, and then they go into another area where they sort of spend I think they spend like a year in like growing, right? And then once they're old enough to be released, they have already like imprinted on this location, right? Like they spend like this year like memorizing this location, and then they go out into the wild, and you will see seals they're like ready to take advantage of the fact that there's like all these salmon there, and fishermen right there waiting to take advantage of these things. And so then the ones that make it past those, and then they go and they live their lives in the ocean, and then they will swim back. And so they built what they call the salmon ladder, and it's basically rungs where they have to sort of swim upstream to get to the top. And once they get to the top, that's when they're ready to lay their eggs. The whole thing starts all over again, right? It was very interesting to me. First, the whole like lay eggs and die thing. I was like, oh, that's wild, but apparently that's how it works. And so basically, they're just sort of helping it along, and they have all these processes and all that, but they're just sort of giving them a chance to grow and populate before they're eaten up by wild predators and all that. So it was very interesting to see. The free coffee did not hurt.
They also had a little section for kids.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically like a touch and feel, stick your hand in a tank and touch stuff.
Crabs, starfish, different, sea creatures.
And so if you could bring the kids, the kids can also do something there. They have videos playing. They also have a gift shop, which they sell smoked salmon jerky. So we got a couple of samples and stuff for family members and things like that. And so we tried samples. We bought full packages. We didn't buy samples, but yeah, okay. Prior to this, Katie was talking to us on the van about the next part of the excursion. They require you to transfer to a oversized monster truck golf cart. So they basically said that, if you can transfer to that, we should be able to get to the gardens part. And because I can't safely because of the inclement weather.
It was a lot, right? And we were worried about it. I think under other conditions, he would have been fine. Like, he transfers to Disney rides, but they gave us an out and we took it.
Yeah.
Right. And they said, if you don't think you could do that, or you don't feel safe or whatever, then we should be able to get you a refund for that portion of it. And so we said, yes, please. And so we haven't done that yet because they told us to talk to the port excursion people, and they don't open until 7 p.m. So tonight we'll go over there and try to talk to them about that. But for now, we are back in the room and kind of relaxing and thawing out, drying out, because it was today I was glad, when I was getting the rain gear and stuff, I was feeling a little bit like being kind of extra here with all this rain gear.
No, you need rain gear. You need rain gear.
100%.
Rain boots, these waterproof rain boots that came in very, very, very helpful today. I also got a rain suit, which essentially is a giant oversuit. So you wear these are my regular clothes, and then you put the rain suit on top of or over this.
Yeah.
Over this. So it's a zip up, snap buttons, and has a hood and everything else. You'll see me in pictures a little bit later, I think. Yeah. But I would highly recommend if you do come to Alaska during the fallish, after beginning late August or September time.
I think it's they get 280 days of rain, so I think it's anytime you're coming to Alaska. Yeah. And you might be supremely lucky and miss out on the rain.
The odds are not in your favor.
So my recommendation would be, make sure that you can be comfortable in the rain. So for example, I bought rain pants, right, to put over. I could have either worn them as pants. My plan was to put them over leggings. I probably should have sized up a little bit just so that it was a little easier to put them on over leggings, because, 2 layers of pants, size up, right? So things like that, just be prepared to be comfortable in cold rain. Right. And the cold part is important too, because cold rain is worse than regular rain. Because we went to Tracy's Crab Shack, which was delicious and kind of a neat experience. But we sat out in the rain for half an hour to get there, right? And so you need to be comfortable in the rain. Comfortable rain shoes, comfortable rain clothes. Right. You're in a chair. Is your chair going to be okay? Adam got clear shower caps from the dollar store and used them to cover his controls.
Because it was raining outside. Normally it's not meant to be out in the rain just sitting.
Right.
And so I basically put the cover. If you have electronic controls on your devices, go to the dollar store, buy one of those cheap plastic shower caps, and with the elastic part on it, put it on top of your controller. It's clear so you can see what you're doing, and use that to drive, because they tell you that's one of the most sensitive parts on your device is that controller.
Right.
If that goes, then you're stuck. So so after Tracy's, it was relatively good, easy to order, because you have to order first, give them your name and your location, because there's 30 mics in there, only one mic from Arizona.
Yeah, so that's how they'll bring out your stuff and they're like, Brooke from DC.
You gotta find a chair.
You gotta go find chairs. Now we had to get a little creative with the chair situation because it's benches. And so at first I was like stuck. Like, all right, what do I do? What do I do? But then, I remembered, like we say on this channel, get creative, right?
Yeah.
Like people with disabilities are some of the most creative people in the world, right? Because you just kind of have to figure it out. Because, make the lemonade anyway, right? All the things from the channel. So we had to figure out how to make that lemonade. And we moved the bench. The benches weren't attached to the tables. And so we were going to move the bench sideways in order to get the wheelchair in. And, we kind of because it's a lot of table sharing. It's not you don't go in and get your own table, right? It's a lot of table sharing. And so we probably took up more of a table than we would have otherwise, but so what, right? We have just as much right to take up that space as anybody else. So we, because the wheelchair needs a wider, so we made it work. And then he wanted shrimp, but he also wanted the crab legs. So we got crab legs to share and his shrimp thing. How was your shrimp thing?
They were pretty good. I believe because it's so cold, I would have loved it much better if it came out hot or stayed hot.
Oh, the temperature outside cooled it down too fast.
Temperature outside cooled down really fast, so you have to eat them pretty quickly. It came with a garlic butter roll, and we also had some Creole seasoning or Creole sauce, some ketchup, and some cocktail sauce. Off this side, you can get extra with that. Or in addition to that, just pick some up, and crab legs.
Yes. And I just got crab legs because I was not in the mood to be talking about food allergies and all these shenanigans. And so I was like, I'm just going to have crab legs. I don't need other things with them. So that's what I had. And it was delicious.
Yes.
So what we have here is 2 pounds. So it was the shrimp thing and 2 pounds of crab. And they say, they recommend a pound per person. And, I think that worked out pretty well. So by the time we were, towards the end, we were done, Yeah. And so I think, had you not gotten the shrimp, do you think we would have been full with the 2?
Maybe. Probably close to it.
Maybe, with a side or something. It would be, it would be fine. We also didn't really have breakfast because it was very early. And so we, ran upstairs and I put a scoop of eggs and a scoop of grits and ran, right? But I ate some of it, but not all of it. Right. So we were hungry as well. So
Tracy's was fun. It does move.
The line.
So the lines, but once you get in, get your food, it doesn't take that long to get your meal. It takes a lot more time to crack the legs, extract all the stuff in there. And that's why it takes the most time. Because we probably spend more time doing that as the time waiting outside. But Tracy's was nice. Katie, our driver, said that there are also some other spots she recommends if Tracy's was too much. Yeah. But once we got in line, we're like, I might as well stick it out. So once Tracy's was done, we decided that we're done. We're back to the show. It wasn't raining at this time, so basically we got back and not pouring again. So it's on and off. So keep your rain gear on throughout the day, unfortunately.
Layers and warm layers. I don't think I fully appreciated how cold the rain was going to make. We always go out in our balcony and we're like, okay, this is how it feels. And then we confirm that with the TV and then we choose what we're going to wear. This was extra cold, I think, just because, first of all, when you're by a glacier, it's colder. It just is. And there's wind coming off of the ice. And then there's also they say there's a psychological component to the fact that you're seeing ice, but whatever, it's cold. And so, I was freezing. I ended up having to buy a sweatshirt because it was too cold. So, just as many layers as you can tolerate. And then you can, reduce and expand and bring a backpack so you have something to put them in,
Yeah.
something waterproof, you know. So yeah, just be prepared. Be comfortable in cold rain. That is the task.
So we came back to our room. We ordered some decaf coffee and hot chocolate, which Brooke is drinking right now. Some more waters because we didn't hydrate today at all like we're supposed to, which is gonna hurt us later. But here we are now.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to pour down outside again.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And we'll be leaving soon. Like I think the ship is supposed to leave in like the next 30 minutes or something.
yeah.
So I think we're just gonna chill for a little bit. We have some ducks to assemble and hide, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then tonight we have dinner in Triton's. It's lobster night, but this has been a really active cruise. Like, I mean, we did 3 major sites today. We did 3 yesterday. The day before that, we did the Glacier Explorer and all those, and stood in all those lines for the 4-character meetups. Like, it's like I keep thinking like, oh, the cruise is almost done because we clearly did all the things, right? Like, this has been a much more active cruise than even for people who are not like, like we're not going on zip lines, but it was still a very active cruise, a very energy consuming cruise. And so just be aware of that. Not that it's a bad thing, it's a great thing, but I'm feeling really grateful that I took an extra 3 days off when we get home. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going right back into the grind as soon as I get home. But
bad move, dude. Bad move.
Okay. So we're like Brooke said, we're gonna chill for the rest of the evening, assemble some stuff, drop off our last. We'll do that tomorrow, tonight.
I don't know. We have 2 sets of, so like we did like our main gift, and then we did 3 little like
fish extender
sub gifts.
Okay.
And so we might pass some of those out either today or tomorrow. I think you said you wanted to do those tomorrow, and then ducks today. So I printed. So we got the ducks. I printed the little labels. I got the armbands, but I didn't assemble them at home because it would take more space. So I need to go assemble the ducks.
Okay.
So I will do that, and then he will hide them. That's the arrangement.
Plan, yes.
I make and assemble. He distributes. So we'll see where he ends up hiding ducks, and they're cute. They have little hats because we're in Alaska and it's cold, so they needed hats, winter hats. So because I wanted to find thematic ducks, because of course I did. So next time you see us, we'll probably be going to dinner unless something else happens.
48 hours later.
Juneau, Alaska, the capital of Alaska.
It rained a lot.
It rained a lot. Well, it rains a lot here in Juneau.
It's not here. We're in the middle of the ocean. We're not faking it.
Okay.
This is day 7, and if you saw our last video, I started getting sick, and by 6 o'clock every day I was done. Yeah. And so we couldn't do wrap up videos, and so we are now doing the wrap up video 3 days later from Juneau. But yeah, Juneau Juneau is lovely. Juneau is the capital. Juneau was very, very wet that day.
It's more built up than the last spots we went to. More commercialized.
Last 2 being the Glacier and Icy Strait.
Correct.
Okay, yes, it's much more built up than the Glacier.
There's supposedly a Starbucks that we couldn't find. Okay, sorry, I'm getting off track.
So today in Juneau, we did a tour called the Deluxe Tour of Juneau. And because we wanted to get a taste of Juneau, right? And so we wanted to try different things. And of course, we were looking for wheelchair accessible. Yes. Not all of the excursions are wheelchair accessible. Some only allowed collapsible. And for the most part, we tried to go for ones that would let him stay in his power chair, because that gives him the freedom he needs.
It gives me everything I need so I can go and experience what you guys experience. Walking on 2 legs and just burning up all that energy and stuff.
So you're going to make people feel bad for you. I don't think that's what you intended. So we got up very early for Brooke, and we met up with our excursion. Yeah, quick breakfast, as in we ran to Cabanas, threw some things in a bowl, and ran downstairs to eat it. And we checked in, and we scarfed down our breakfast, and we get outside, right, because they have you meet inside. And then once everybody's there, then they take you out. This particular one was the D Lounge. And then they took us outside, and the bus was not accessible.
Wah, wah.
They actually had 2 buses. Neither were accessible.
Wah, wah. They had one.
And they were like, "Oh, are you able to go upstairs?" And so we,
Spoke to the, I guess, coordinator lady outside, because there's Disney coordination, then there's the tour operator coordination.
Yeah. So yeah, it was the tour operator. And she was like, we didn't get that communication. So now I know that Disney noted it because they had called us down specifically to ask about this one, to note that, at the port of entry, to note that we needed, so who knows who dropped what ball.
Yeah.
But a ball was dropped. They didn't know. But they scrambled pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean,
After the 3rd bus left, I think, the lady pulls up. Her name was
Katie.
Katie was cool. It was like, she talked about her life here and everything that she took us to. First stop, Mendenhall Glacier.
Yes. So I will say there wasn't a whole lot of talking. I mean, she was talking as we were getting there, but there wasn't a whole lot of like, and on your left, you will see the blah, 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 blah. Like, there was a little bit of that, but not much. But also maybe there just isn't that much to see on the highway because it's just like a highway.
Other than the eagles on the towers.
This is true. There were some eagles she was pointing out.
Stoplight. You don't see eagles just sitting on the thing. Like,
yeah, no, it's cool.
It's cool.
After Mendenhall, we went to the Salmon Hatchery. The Salmon Hatchery was fascinating, and there was a bunch of activities for kids and things like that, and so that was a lot of fun. And then the third part of that tour was a tour of these gardens, very agriculture-y. They have like a greenhouse, and then they plant these things. That part you do have to transfer.
Yeah.
Could Adam have transferred? Probably. Was he feeling comfortable about it, given how slippery everything is and rainy, and then what had happened the day before with the sliding and all this?
Yeah.
And so when given the choice, we decided to go back. They refunded 40% of the tour. And so we really appreciate them doing that.
But your mileage may vary because, again, you may be able to transfer if it's not raining. You may be able to do it, but if you can't, just speak to the tour operator or your guide or whatever. Have them call back base office or home base or whatever it is, let them aware, because again, people need to communicate. If you don't tell them, let them know your concerns. Always talk about that.
Well, and the issue was that it said wheelchair accessible. It didn't say anything about needing to transfer in the description. I suspect they're going to change the description. So if they change the description, then I wouldn't be expecting a refund, right? Like if it tells you need to transfer, and then you say, "But wait, I didn't know," right? Like instead, we went and got crab legs at Tracy's, which is like tourist trap, but
even though we probably paid premium for those crab legs, it was still good. It was still very good.
Yeah. And then we headed back to the ship because we were done at that point. They do have another gondola, different type of gondola that goes up to the mountain if you're so inclined. We weren't. We were over it. It was very wet. We came back and I think I was at spa that day. Like, we were done. I don't feel like Juneau has a ton to do if you don't have an excursion. So like you probably want to plan to do something, whether you're going to go out to those places on your own. Juneau's also a good place for whale watching if you don't get it at the other one. We really enjoyed it, but it was very rainy.
One thing that we want to talk about, I want to mention really quick, is that Alaska is very rainy. So you need to bring rain gear. And so I bought a rain suit, which basically goes over my regular clothes, which I needed because today was very rainy. Not today, but that day was very rainy. Very rainy. I'm talking like it's like just you rolling in the rain and it's just going. Having that rain suit was very, very good. Something that hopefully I can find a picture of it.
Why don't we can link to it below. We'll link to it in the comments.
Right.
We can we'll put some links to some of the products that we found most helpful. I did a whole lot of searching for plus size rain gear. It was a lot harder than you might think it was. So I can put those links as well. I thought maybe I was being a little extra buying all the rain stuff. I was not. I was very glad that we had it.
Yes.
Because you need to be, we're an Alaska trip. You need to have enough rain gear that you are comfortable being outside in the rain. And I mean like rain.
Right, yeah.
Like
it's
all
the
puddles,
rainiest place in the world other than the Amazon. So
yeah. So like you need to be able to like hang out in the rain. Like I was getting tired and I went because sick, and so I went and sat on a park bench that was drenched, but I was comfortable because I was all decked out in the rain gear. So you need to be comfortable in the rain. You need to make sure your controls are protected. So don't forget about that as well. Don't forget about if you're seated. Don't forget about your lap. Like you need so like a poncho that stops at your lap is not going to be sufficient. You need all of it, right? So, and the rain, and it's wind. You're near the ocean, so it's windy. So the rain goes all directions, like all the rain. And so it's just a lesson of like prepare for the rain.
Because the rain will stop raining for like 20 minutes. Also, the rain stops and the sun comes out. So it's like it's up and down. So just make sure be prepared, have everything you need. Because it's just something out there to have fun. It's nice.
But if you have any questions about Juneau, about the excursion we did, or why we didn't do others, feel free to put the questions in the comments. We really just wanted to see what we could do accessibility-wise in Juneau, and I feel like we found some really good options. Yeah. So if you have any questions, let us know. But until next time,
stay strong,
get creative,
and keep exploring.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.